Alright, so in this one, we're going to be looking at another comparison type of video. Yesterday, you guys saw, obviously, the Revival Goku and the Super Saiyan Blue Zenkai 7 Goku, and, you know, some people said Revival Goku's better, some people said Zenkai 7's better. In terms of solid units of their own state, just one-on-one versus one another, I think Revival Goku is outmatched by Zenkai 7 Blue, but in the meta, it can be debated that Revival Goku's better because having a Revive unit, manipulating Rising Rush, is very good compared to just good defense, good damage, and good everything else. Revival allows manipulation while, damage doesn't necessarily allow that to be a factor in the match, right? So people had their opinions. Nothing, like, toxic came out of it. No one was like, oh my god, you're so fucking this because you said this, blah, blah, blah. No, everyone was cordial. And then I put up the poll asking, okay, what do you guys want to see next? If of that, like, do you guys want to see it again? And most people are, even tweeting me it rather than just responding to the poll. They want to see Yellow DKP versus LF Piccolo Zenkai 7. Who is the best Regen Yellow unit? Now, this one's a little rough, I'll be honest. Because, look, to me, a blast-based unit and a strike-based unit do not flow together, right? They do not go on the same teams. So yes, you have that discrepancy where it's like, okay, you gotta pick between one or two based on if you're using a strike-based team or a blast-based team. So this will be tough to kind of distinguish who's actually better. Already, like now, recording this right here, I'm not, already have this established thought like yesterday where Zenkai 7 Super Saiyan Blue is better in my opinion. Here, I really don't know. I'm kind of leaning towards somebody more than the other, but fully, like, 100% I feel this way. We're kind of just going to get into it, right? I don't know how I feel 100% yet. So I've used both these units, right? I've used Zenkai LF Piccolo a lot less because I just recently Zenkai 7'd him with, pulling him from random banners and all that. So my opinion on him won't be as in-depth as my opinion on this guy, but to also mention, as I'm going to mention in every single one of these videos, as long as you guys actually want to see them, this is basically strictly off facts. This is about their kits, comparing a unit one-to-one one another, usually trying not to have my opinion subjected into this, more just comparing the units and seeing how they are as solo units, one-on-one, who is the better unit overall. So, to look at DKP, because he is first when we, sort by everything. DKP's stats, very good. He is Zenkai 7 1400%, and then both of them are Zenkai 7 1400%, by the way. LF Piccolo's only 7 stars, so he's going to have a lot lower stats when we look at him, just understand that. But that is the normal stars you would probably have him. This guy, if you, have been playing for a good while, you probably have him at like 9 to 11 if you have him Zenkai'd. If not, he hasn't been around much, so I wouldn't blame you to not even have this guy Zenkai'd yet. But I think he is actually in the Rush shop, so if you are going to Zenkai him, and this video is going to help you like contemplate that, go for him. Regardless of what I say, he's still very good. Both of them are still very, very good. But stats, alright. Strike attack, 276, very damn high. Blast attack 240, defenses are very high as well, with strike defense being very good at 193, and the blast defense is 181. Critical's pretty high. Then key restore speed isn't low, but, he gets key on entry, so it helps him deal with that. He holds a poison card as well, which is very good for his, uniques here when we look at them. So strike, normal, blast, normal. Then the blue card is a quick animation. Deals major explode damage. The falling effects occur based on own remaining health upon activation. I actually did not know this. Okay. Health is 70% or lower, plus 20% special move damage inflicted, 15 timer counts. Health is 50% or lower, plus 40% to the damage for 15 timer counts. Then 30% or lower, plus 60% to this special move damage and further special moves for 15 timer counts. Wow. I did not know that existed at all for this guy. I just kind of throw it whenever, just like probably 99% of the players. So this guy, low health, okay, that 60% with those stats, that's really good. Green card, plus 20% strike damage inflicted, 15 timer counts, destroys all of your own cards and randomly draws 4 new ones. A card reload, I mean, green card is crazy, like a hand reload green card, because, look, you are going to always have key with this guy. We'll look at his uniques, I'll explain why, but This guy will always have Ki, and then always refreshing to try and draw a poison card will be very good for him, again, with his uniques here that we're about to check out. So main ability, Countdown to Despair. This main ability is timeless and absurd and will never be bad. Just understand that, just like Super Saiyan Blue Zenkai 7 Goku. Another timeless main ability, this guy's the same thing. Plus 40% strike damage inflicted 30 timer counts, that's whatever. Take your opponent's Dragon Balls and adds them to your own. Effects will change according to how many Dragon Balls they have. 2 or more, take 2, gain 2. 1, take 1, gain 1. None, no effect. If your opponent does anything at all, they will at least have 2 Dragon Balls. That's just how it works. That's how Legends is. It's not going to change. You know, Rising Rush is a key factor of the game. And this guy manipulating Dragon Balls holds him in high standing for me, even before we've seen everything else about LF Piccolo and DKP in it of himself. So far, this main ability is very timeless, but LF Piccolo, his first main ability is also timeless. It just depends which one you value more, which, again, we'll get into more and more as we go. The ability's not great. Just Regen, this guy came out very early on. Obviously, you see it there. DBL 05. Very, very early in the game. This guy came out probably within... I think he was the first step-up banner, actually. With Hercule and himself, they came out together. This guy was crazy on release, but... You know, single buffing is not ideal, so that sucks. And, yeah, I mean, you can argue his Zenkai ability here makes up for it with yellow regen. But, I mean, I don't know. I don't like his Z ability. Obviously, they've gotten better as the game has aged because, you know, more stat increases, more buffs, more new units. They're going to make them better and better and better. It's called power creep, right? So, unique ability. The Demon King's Terror applies flying effects to enemy when this character enters the battlefield. Inflicts attribute downgrade plus 20% damage received for 20 timer counts. Inflicts attribute downgrade plus 2 to sub count for 15 timer counts. So, that bottom part. Inflicts attribute downgrade plus 2 to sub count. If you don't know, I talk about this a lot. Manipulation of Rising Rush, sub counts, and what your opponent can do, aka like lock-in types, / sub count up units, are insane. Even earlier, right? I always reference this because I guess, make videos on units that do this because I love them. It's just coincidental, but that Android 17, he manipulates sub count. If you pop his blue card, they get +2 sub count. Not, oh, after it hits, he gets +2 sub count to the enemy. No, on the activation. So when this guy comes in, on his come-in, he's +2ing to their sub count. You get me? It's very good to manipulate timings and Rising Rushes and enemy switches, because switching out and in and out and in is very much the meta of how you play the game nowadays compared to back in the day where it was just like, okay, I'll eat this combo, okay, I'll eat this combo, then maybe I'll switch if I lose my Vanish, you know, once in a blue moon. The game is now very fast-paced, and sub-counts obviously being lower are more ideal than higher. So that's a very good unique ability, even if you don't get the damage received that they're immune. That sub-count manipulation, very good, very good. Overflowing Youth applies flying effects to yourself when this character enters the battlefield. Gradually restores health each timer count for 40 timer counts. Increases arts card draw speed by 1 level for 15 timer counts. Then plus 50% key recovery for 20 timer counts. As I spoke about before, his key recovery isn't the greatest, so he has this unique here to make up for that 50% key recovery. When he enters, gradually restores health each timer count for 40 timer counts. Again, very good. Obviously, a regen unit typically will have that. And card draw speed is never anything bad because it allows you to farm rush. And if you have high stats like this guy, you're going to hit pretty damn hard and do long combos, right? Utter Annihilation, plus 30% of damage inflicted when battle starts, cannot be cancelled, nullifies enemies, restores own health when it reaches 0, so endurance, when this character attacks. So that's on anything. Tap blast, tap attacks, strike arts, blast arts, blue card. Anything he does will nullify their endurance. At all. Very good for, let's say, Yellow Future Gohan, if you're going to run into him. Let's say, I'm not even sure other relevant... Who's a relevant endurance unit? Topo, I guess? Yeah? 2 units right there that are very good units that you can just say, fuck your second life. Especially to Future Gohan, because he gets a lot more health back when he, you know, gets his second life. He gets, what, 40%? Compared to most endurance getting like 20%. So, very good on that. Then we look more, plus 40% to strike damage inflicted for 5 timer counts when this character uses an arts while enemy is inflicted with poison or strong poison. So, sorry for reading that so stupidly. Plus 40% strike damage inflicted for 5 timer counts, right? So, why is that good? 40% plus these stats, plus he's getting, if we look just overall, right? Let's not include the damage received, plus 20%, right? Because some units are immune. He'll get that 30%, then he'll get that 40%, that's 70%, then he'll get 40% right here. That's 110% plus his main ability. This guy will have 150% damage inflicted for his strikes. With those stats and with poison actually hurting the enemy, obviously as it ticks more and more and more with it being strong or normal poison, that's going to be a lot of damage this guy's doing to any opponent in the game, whether it even be a red or just a neutral unit. So right there, that's a very good thing for him. Plus the key recovery and the card draw speed, he can extend combos very long. He really doesn't have a, negative in his damage department, given you don't want to do blast with him, but his blast damage isn't even that terrible because of his stats. Even if he's not getting a lot of blast damage inflicted buffs, he's getting enough to help him out. Then, his last unique, this will have to be a quick demonstration. Applies the following effects to self when this character enters the battlefield. Restores ki by 40, and then plus 40% damage inflicted 20 timer counts. Again, that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is why this guy's not going to run out of ki, because you're going to get ki on switch-in. A lot of units support and give ki when they switch out to standby. So he'll probably get, let's say you run with Android 21, this guy's going to get near like 80 to 100 ki when he comes in, and he'll have a full combo. Maybe you have a green card, maybe you get a poison off of that. Boom! You're going to do almost 120 to 130% more damage inflicted with her buffs, with his own buffs. If you pop his main, it'll be near 200%, and then you could probably rush within that same combo of doing all that damage. That is craziness, right? So overall, I do think this guy is a good strike-based unit, but that's not what we're talking about, right? We're comparing him. So far, Yellow DKP is a good strike-based unit. He does a lot of damage, he does okay blast, and defenses are pretty high for, what he is, right? A strike-based unit. So, to look at LF Piccolo, again, he is more a range type with his stats, but he is obviously called a defense type, range type here, with blast attack being higher than strike attack. This is before transformation. We'll look at both, once again, just like we did with Revival Goku. Strike attack, 219, blast attack, 228, and defense is both at 168. Critical is pretty low, and Key Restore speed is a little bit lower than DKP. Then he holds a Blast Arts that locks an enemy's card, I believe, for 5 timer counts. If we look right here, yeah, for 5 timer counts. So that's not terrible. I think Poison is more effective than locking a card. But in certain circumstances, if you lock, let's say, the enemy's last Dragon Ball, then boom, this is more effective. So it's all circumstantial in that discussion. Strike is normal, Blast normal, but then his Blast actually has plus 50% to blast damage inflicted against enemy's armor. That means if, let's say, I don't know, LF Broly is trying to blast armor you, well, he'll do more damage inflicted to him. That's good, but if you're getting blast armor, typically you're going to get hit, so it's kind of a trade-off of maybe you'll kill him, maybe you won't. That's usually a end-of-match scenario where this will be very effective or it'll get you killed. So, very risky to actually try to pull off, but if you do, you'll do good damage. Blue card, Explosive Demon Wave. I can't speak. Deals major explode damage, restores own ki by 20 upon activation, and then cancels enemy attribute upgrades on hit, activates once. So anytime a unit can cancel buffs is very good, right? By the way, DKP and Piccolo pre-transformation both have quick blue card animations, so very good for both of them, right? Cancels enemy attribute upgrades on hit. If it activated maybe more than once, it'd be better, obviously, because there's units nowadays that do that. They aren't transforming, they just have that in their kits where they, attribute upgrades are canceled on their blue cards. I can't even think of one specifically, but I know it does exist. But you won't see this guy a lot in his pre-transformation state, so I guess it's fine. Obviously, canceling their attribute upgrades is very good, but you aren't going to see this guy in late game, and usually people are popping their abilities mid to late game. So it's not as effective as you would think, but it does enough for like early game damage dealers like Purple Super Saiyan 3 Goku. You land this on him, well, he's purple anyways, he's not going to be in the fight, but let's say you switch to a green, he won't do much damage because all his buffs are canceled, right? If he can have cancelable buffs. Green card, gradually restores own health each timer count for 60 timer counts, and then plus 50% to damage inflicted, blast damage inflicted for 60 timer counts. 60 counts is a long time for both of those, so that's good. It's just not as effective as a full reload, but I think it's good, right? To look at his abilities here, main ability, My Body Feels So Light, transforms into Agile Style, restores own Vanish Gauge by 100%, and gains attribute upgrade shorten sub count by 1. Cannot be cancelled. Yup, he has two of the things I like most in this game. He has Vanish Recovery, which is timeless on his main ability when he transforms, and then he has sub count by 1 reduction. So, that means he has 9 sub counts. That means he manipulates the timer counts of when Rising Rushes will be thrown, or who will be hit by a Rising Rush. Now, who manipulates better? So far, I would say Yellow DKP. Just understand that, so far, I'm valuing Yellow DKP more, but as we look more, we'll see more of this guy's kit and see who really is better. The Z ability is Regen and Saiyan Saga, Blast Attack and Defense up to 35%, 35% at 14 stars. For now, it'll be at 30 because typically you won't have this guy at 14. It's good. You know, Saiyan Saga's not a real team anymore. It never really was. It was a little bit run when, that Saiyan Saga Goku came out and Raditz with this guy. But besides them, it's not a real team. So that's kind of a dead, tag to buff. And then Regen is Blast Attack and Defense. Yeah, Regen, again, it has 2 teams, right? It has a Strike-based team and a Blast-based team. That's good. Let's say for Kid Buu, Android 21, Purple DKP, this guy is going to have a good Z ability for at least them. So Z ability-wise, this guy's better. Obviously, Zenkai ability is the same exact thing, just buffing more defense while DKP is giving more offense, right? Unique ability. The only chance we have of winning is if I go with you. The following effects occur when battle starts. Plus 20% damage inflicted by allies or your buddy. So that's good for co-op, I guess, if you really care. Plus 60% blast damage inflicted cannot be cancelled. Then plus 50% own key recovery cannot be cancelled. So that's very good. So his low stats hurt him in this regard. But the 50% own key recovery cannot be cancelled is what DKP gets. But it is cancelable. You get me? So that is actually a win for this Piccolo. I think I value this unique ability over one of DKP's unique abilities. Demonic Power restores 20% of damage received after enemy attack is over, up to 20% of own health. Reduce damage received by 50% until combo ends when changing cover. Then plus 20% to damage inflicted for 20 timer counts when activated. That's really good. 50% cover, again, lower stats. He's going to maintain this cover when he transforms, obviously, but with the lower stats, it's not the craziest, but nonetheless, 50% cut is 50% cut, and that cannot be slept on. Then restores 20% damage received after enemy attack is over. Pair that with a healing unit and his green card that can also gradually heal him. Pretty good setup there for him. Tag teaming with rivals. The following effects occur when this character switches to standby. Gradually restores allies other than this character's health each timer count for 10 timer counts. Very good. Inflicts all attribute downgrade plus 10% damage received for 10 timer counts. Basically what DKP does for that second part, but DKP does it 2 times, right? He does 20% for 15 timer counts, I believe. So DKP has that one up on him. But healing your other characters when this guy is swapped out for 10 timer counts might not seem a lot, but, every little bit of health counts, right? Every little bit of health you have matters to win or lose a match. So very good that he heals very often and tanks well and heals back after tanking. Then his last unique here, Obsession with Victory. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield. Plus 20% to strike damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. Not sure why they gave him that. Reduces enemy key by 10. Then inflicts enemy attribute downgrade plus 5 to strike and blast arts cost for 10 timer counts. So, plus 20% strike damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. I don't like. He's not going to do strike damage. We're going to check him out after transformation. Look at his stats. He's not a strike-based unit. He's not going to hit hard strike-based. They should have just made that overall damage inflicted. Reduce enemy key by 10, that's fine. I mean, I guess, if he's covering in, then it's better. But if you're just, starting off and then swapping into him, it's not going to do much, right? And then increasing their card cost again will do something when he's covering, but if he's not covering, it really means nothing. So those bottom 2 kind of don't do much, again, unless you're covering. But if you're not, then those are kind of useless, right? So, to look at him after transformation, to look at his stats, yeah, they went up. Strike attack went up to 243 from about 225. Blast attack went up about 25k to 280k. Then defenses went up about 6k each. Critical went up a little bit, and key restore speed also went up just a tad. To look at his arts again, Blast is the same thing, Strike is the same thing. Blue card now obviously changed to Special Beam Cannon. Deals massive pierce damage, applies flying effects to self upon activation. Gain attribute upgrade minus 100% to enemy sting damage cut effects for 3 timer counts, and nullifies endurance when his character attacks for 3 timer counts. So, you missed this blue card, but they're still 1 HP. You can tap attack them, and you'll still nullify their endurance. That's very good, and probably a lot of things people don't notice about this guy because of that blue card. Then, it has a 100% chance to inflict heavy bleed on hit and blast armor when charging forward. Special Beam Charge. Draw a special move arts card next, activates 2 times, restores own ki by 30, plus 80% to next special move damage inflicted, activates 2 times, so that's 160% to next special move damage inflicted, plus 20% to blast damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. Yeah, his green card's crazy. This green card, just because of how much damage it gives to his blue, is easily outranking and outshining DKP's. 160% damage when he pops 2 green cards. That's going to one-shot a lot of units, and you wouldn't expect it to. So, a very good green card there. Main ability, it's all yours. Draw a special arts card next. Obviously, him drawing a green with that green card being so good is crazy. Restores own ki by 60 and destroys all of your enemy cards. So, let's say you pop a green, you tackle them, they sidestep, boom, you pop that blue card. You're going to deal massive damage, regardless if it's 1 or 2 green cards with it. You're going to do very good damage with this guy. After that, Z ability obviously stays the same, Zenkai ability obviously stays the same. Then this changes. Everything changes here with his uniques, right? Winning strategy, plus 20% strike damage inflicted after transforming, cannot be cancelled. I wish it was overall damage inflicted. Applies flying effects to self depending on the number of timer counts elapsed after transforming. So you want to transform very quickly with this guy, right? Kind of hurts his first main ability, but I'll get into that. 10 timer counts elapsed, minus 20 to special move arts cost, cannot be cancelled. 20 timer counts elapsed, increase card draw speed by 1 level, cannot be cancelled. Then 30 timer counts elapsed, minus 10 to strike and blast arts cost. So why does this hurt his first main ability? Well, you kind of want to shove it out there, right? With Zenkai 7 Super Saiyan Blue Goku, you can hold it out, delay it, and kind of pop that main whenever to get your Vanish back. And with this guy, you can do the same, but if you do that, you're stunting his damage and his overall usability as a transforming unit. So, while his main ability is good, it could be better if this guy didn't need all these restrictions to get his max damage. I understand why they do it, because transforming units, they have to give you an incentive to transform, because that main ability is super strong, with his first one being Restore Vanish Gauge and lower sub count by 1 uncancelably. But, it's not the greatest thing. I think DKP in that department actually wins in main ability, because you are more forced to use it with this LF Piccolo than you are more forced to use DKPs, to where you can, you know, Rising Rush somebody mid-main ability, you can do all this stuff mid-main ability whenever you'd like, and it's very quick, and this guy you're more forced to use early on to get his overall damage to be better as you continue the fight. Just my opinion. Latent Demonic Power, this changes quite a bit, jeez, yeah. Restores 20% of damage received, blah, blah, blah. He does the same thing. He already did that. Also applies Flying Effect self if own remaining health is 50% or below. This is new to his transformation. Plus 20% damage inflicted cannot be cancelled. Reduced damage received by 20% cannot be cancelled. Reduced damage received by 30% until combo ends when changing cover. Then plus 20% to damage inflicted with 20 timer counts when activated. So we're going to go over all his damage. But as you can see, this guy's a lot of cut, right? 50% there. He's going to have more as we keep going. He's going to be a tanky man, and plus, you know, this right here, where he's increasing their cost. Again, we'll go into that, but it's very good. Tag teaming with rivals, Flying Effects current character switch standby. He heals his allies for 15 timer counts, and then the same thing, plus 10% damage received for 15 timer counts. I believe it's the same thing. I think this went up by 5 timer counts each, which isn't bad. Obviously, the more timer counts of healing and damage received to the enemy is good, but nothing big change there. Then his last unique, Obsession with Victory. Plus 20% strike damage inflicted, cannot be stacked. Reduced enemy ki by 10, then plus 5 to their strike and blast arts cost. So, why is he good, right? Let's look at his cut here. Again, he has 50% cut, then he has good stats to go with it. You know, DKP actually has better stats, but DKP has 0 cut. So sustainability-wise, this guy's a better unit to sustain combos and actually eat on a more tanky based team, slash he is the tank of a team, right? His damage inflicted is a little stupid, I would say. Honestly, there's not really a good thing for him. He gets 20% strike damage inflicted. Okay. Then he gets nothing here. I'm not going to cancel a damage received because units are immune. Like, I'll cancel it as an overall to compare him, but with DKP, I didn't even count it. So then he gets 20% here after, yeah, after all that happens when changing cover. So 20%, 40% to strike damage technically right now. And he has nothing there, 60% to strike damage. That's it. He gets 20%, then he gets 20, oh no, he gets 20% right here, okay. So he gets 80% strike damage and what, 40% to blast? And he's more of a blast-based unit. I understand his main draw would be to use this green and blue card combo because, you know, 160% damage, that's 200% damage to overall because his damage inflicted is 40% normal. His strike damage is actually going up to just 80% though. Like, okay. So his overall damage inflicted, just his strike and blast starts, will be 60% to blast, 80% to strike, but then you count that. It's more like 100% damage inflicted overall with this guy if you pop a green. Overall, his damage inflicted isn't too crazy. Besides his blue card, it's just not a lot. Now, he does have card draw speed, and he will do decent damage because of that, because he obviously can extend combos. But I feel like you need to pop this guy's 2 green cards for him to do real damage on his blast over having a strike do actual damage. With a blast-based unit, it's very strange they gave him lower strike stats but higher blast stats, and they buff his strike attack more in his uniques. I don't know. I find that strange. So overall, looking at them both, it's hard, right? Because again, I've said this in the beginning of the video, who is better? It's hard to compare because one's a more, you know, strike-based, hard-hitting unit, and one's a more defensive-based, I'm gonna pop my blue card and green card and mess you up unit. I'm thinking about it right now. I think yellow DKP is better for the simple thing of his manipulation is just stronger, right? His team is stronger. You know, I don't like to compare the teams more than anything, but I feel like in this circumstance it's more warranted because they're not going to run on the same team. So comparing whose team is better also helps determine who is the better unit. This DKP with Fat Boo, that +2 Dragon Balls they can get on main ability, like there's no negative to that. You go into DKP, you pop his main, you have 5 balls, you get 2 more from the enemy, do a strike, and then you switch to Fat Boo. You're guaranteed a rush, right? Like, guaranteeing something in this game is very hard to do, and when you are, you have to accept that that's like one of the best things in the game. And this yellow DKP can do that on his main team. You know, LF Piccolo, he's going to be run with, I'd say, Blue 21 and Purple DKP more often than not. Maybe Kid Buu instead of Blue 21 if you have the stars for it. And it's just that that team is more overall damage, right? There's no manipulation, okay? Kid Buu can screw over sub counts a little bit, but besides that, this guy doesn't really have much sub count manipulation besides his -1. And then Purple DKP, while he can manipulate, you're more restricted with Purple DKP because he has to transform, he has to get going for him to actually look good. And then you have 2 units here who actually have to get going, while Kid Buu has to carry the ship, basically, until this guy and Purple DKP transform. I think a strike-based regen is just a better team overall, with Zamasu, Fat Buu, and DKP here, than a blast-based regen of Kid Buu, Purple DKP, and LF Piccolo here. Yeah, I think so. You know, I'm kind of going back and forth because DKP, I'm thinking about it, they do manipulate sub count, but they don't, I don't know. I like manipulating sub count, but I like locking in more, because locking in is guaranteed. Manipulating sub count's cool, but it's essentially just a worse version of locking in, right? Like, I said they don't manipulate that much. I guess I'm wrong, because Purple DKP can manipulate it with his green cards. Kid Buu, with when they swap in, they get +3 sub count. Then this guy, by minusing 1 to his own sub count. It's good, but it's just not as strong, and having a team that can actually do well, burst damage quickly in the match, late game in the match, which is what strike-based regen is with this yellow DKP, I feel like it's just better as an overall team standard and overall unit in and of itself for Yellow DKP to be higher ranked than LF Piccolo. If you disagree, you know, I have no qualms with that. You know, I could disagree with this and be like, yeah, LF Piccolo's better. But as solo individual units, besides looking at their teams, which I just did for a little bit here, like she does matter in my opinion. Yellow DKP, just that Dragon Ball stealing, man, it's crazy. His stats are higher, you know, in every regard of damage, where he's actually going to be doing stuff, because strike stats are higher than LF Piccolo's blast stats. Again, this is the normal stars you would have LF Piccolo, I feel like. DKP is maybe a little bit higher than you would have him. You know, typically you'd have him like 11, 12, but he's still going to be higher stats than transforming Piccolo here. The defenses are higher as well on a non-defense type, given he doesn't have cut. You have, again, the kind of team comparison thing, you have units that can cut for him to where he doesn't really need it. LF Piccolo just seems like he's trying to do too much, where he's not getting enough damage inflicted to warrant what he is, right? This guy wants to do his green into blue, but he also wants to spice in a little bit of tanking, which he can do well, but then he also wants to spice in a little bit of damage of his strike and blast, and them being so weird with his buffs of strike damage inflicted twice when he's a blast-based, you know, stat-wise unit. I don't truly understand it, but yeah, I would say Yellow DKP just barely is a better unit than LF Piccolo. But if you guys disagree, let me know why. I mean, I can see the argument either way. Again, like, I am not 100% on this like I am about Zenkai 7 Super Saiyan Blue Goku from yesterday. I can see the argument going both ways. If you have maybe a better start-out regen team that's blast-based than a strike-based team, you know, I could see, okay, LF Piccolo is better. But from, you know, my own usage of both units, I see a lot more value, and I'm a lot more scared of a Yellow DKP than I am of an LF Piccolo. But again, if you guys disagree, let me know. Let me know why. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.